Welcome to Chit Chat with me, Kate Latham-Whitley from Startup to Setup. And I have the wonderful Nicola Reekie here, who is also in my programme. And one of the best things I get to do with all the women in this programme is that I get to interview them to find out more about what they do, who they're helping, and share that with the world because they're all doing such amazing work. So Nicola, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. No, thank you for taking the time to come and ask me more.
So Nicola, tell us about what you actually do.
So I'm a solution-focused therapist and I work with women looking and using a whole load of different healing modalities. So neuro-linguistic coaching, so reframing and ways of remodeling situations, hypnotherapy, Reiki, reflexology and theta healing.
Marvellous. So who do you actually work with and why do you particularly choose that sort of group of people to work with?
So I work with mums, and really specifically mums whose children are on the autism spectrum, and even more specific is their children normally are PDAs, so that's pathological demand avoidance children.
Yeah, and that's actually not very well known, is it? So how have you been raising awareness of, how have you been sort of raising awareness about PDA to reach the mums who need you the most?
So I held a summit back in July, an online summit, which we ended up with over 4,000 people attending.
That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. A much needed service then, gosh.
Thank you. Yes. So I put on with 21 webinar speakers over 4 days.
Wow.
But I work more specifically supporting them with the mum's emotional well-being.
Yeah.
Very often they're very tired, exhausted, and perhaps feel belittled, not had perhaps the emotional support from other professionals.
Yeah.
The way that children with PDA, they're often masking, or other people don't necessarily see all of the challenges that the child faces.
So have you always done this?
No. Before I was a reflexologist, Reiki practitioner, and I've worked with different niches. In London, I worked in substance misuse and supporting adults finding new ways and healthier lifestyle choices. And then when I first moved to Wales, I supported adults with learning difficulties doing mini treatments in their independent homes.
So you've got a real all-round holistic view of the person anyway, haven't you? So if someone has issues with PDA or anywhere on the autistic spectrum, you must have really good insight into that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, personally, and my personal experience around my health is that, we are physical beings, and the emotional, spiritual well-being, all, that whole circle comes together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My experience of working with adults with learning difficulties as well means that, I've got a great understanding. And when you asked why, also my son got diagnosed when he was 9 with PDA, and our personal story was it took a long time, and it was a chance conversation with a friend that got me to look up PDA.
Yeah. Oh, crikey. So I know that you run a membership specifically to help mums, don't you? So what sort of problems are mums and parents in general, I guess, facing for them to need to reach out specifically? You mentioned the tiredness and being overwhelmed with emotional support, but how does that actually impact lives? Because some people would say, well, that's parenting in general, but it's not, is it? It's different when there are other issues in play.
Absolutely. I mean, parenting's tough anyway.
Yeah.
And yes, my membership's called the PDA Sanctuary, and it's an online therapeutic space.
Yeah.
And the parents who are joining, because very often the young person or adult even may not necessarily shown, perhaps they've done something called masking, which means that they behave in one way in one environment and different. So there may be the fizzy bottle of after school behaviour. They have a lot of anxiety and need to be in control. So therefore, that puts a lot of pressure on families, especially if you have other siblings. So balancing everybody's emotional needs, getting out and about can be really challenging.
Right,
There may be sleep, there'll be sleep issues. There's all sorts of other issues that regular parents won't face, as well as frequently. I put a poll in my, I run a free group, the PDA Parent Space, back in June, and asked, what comments had they had from other professionals. It was heartbreaking. It's you, it's your parenting, it's your fault. Be stricter, be firmer. PDA doesn't exist. And so parents are getting that from the professionals, and maybe some family members also are thinking, well, you just need to be tougher.
Right.
So there's no emotional support. So they've got a child with additional needs who probably hasn't got getting any help because they're masking. Then on top of that, they're sort of being not supported by the professionals either.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a social worker, I used to run parenting groups, and quite often before we set them up, the parents were told, well, you need to do this, you need to do that. But nobody had actually explained how to actually take those first steps to put things into place that might help. So I totally get where you're coming from. And I'm guessing in the membership with you, they're going to have that guidance, aren't they? So you've explained how that can impact their lives. What do you think when they come into you that they need help with most when they first come to you? Where are they right now?
I think everybody's on a different part of the journey, because we're all human, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it's more about filling up their emotional pot.
Yeah.
And having some time to learn how to self-soothe, relax. And very often parents haven't got the time, not that we're able to at this moment, to perhaps go and do a yoga class or an hour to even online do a yoga or Pilates class. So I teach them how to weave into their day some really small but powerful techniques. As well as though it's a therapeutic space. We have a topic this month's been around acceptance. So looking at the things that perhaps they are struggling to accept.
Yes. And I should think sometimes that could actually be just accepting themselves as being parents in this situation, and not trying to fight, recognizing that there isn't a quick fix. There isn't just one thing they can do, and just accepting that is the situation. It can be huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, I mean, I actually said we could do acceptance for the whole year, because really accepting the situation, accepting what your child's capabilities are. But I mean, it's massive. But each month there's going to be a therapeutic theme. So next month is self-talk.
Oh, good.
Very powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. So what often would stop somebody from perhaps coming and joining your membership, or coming or seeking the help that they need? What sort of things prevent people from reaching out for that helping hand?
I think sometimes time, and feeling that perhaps it's going to be more emotional work rather than a little bit more actually support, guidance. Yeah. And I've made sure, because I'm a PDA parent, I've really been careful not to put too much into this, and so that they don't feel overwhelmed. That's good. And it's not another job to do.
Yeah, I think, we're hearing all over the place, self-care, which is absolutely vital. But when you've got to put it in the diary and it feels like a chore, it actually can add to the stress and the overwhelm, can't it? Just looking after yourself. Yeah.
And I think financially, not everybody, even though I've kept it to a really, I feel, a reasonable price, but some people a lot of parents have had to give up work because I had to change because my son couldn't do breakfast club or after school club. Yeah. And childcare is quite a big issue.
It's a long day for any child, let alone a child that has, PDA, for goodness sake, crikey. Yeah. When somebody comes in to the group or to the membership, what's the sort of first thing you do? Because I know that you also do some one-to-one sessions as well, if somebody feels that they might need that, either a stepping stone or as an additional service. So what sort of thing would you be able to offer them?
So initially, if they're coming in to join the Sanctuary, that's only at this point open for September.
Yeah.
I will be looking at how I run it in the future.
Yeah.
There is 5 foundation videos that support them around sleep, stress, breathing, which is always a bit of an odd one because we always breathe.
Yeah, but we do forget sometimes, don't we? We hold our breath and it actually creates anxiety, surprisingly. Yeah.
And then there's a self-soothing technique in there, and an NLP of just being able to let go of stress. So those foundation videos are in there and all ongoing. And then they can either reach out and say if there's something specific. There's 2 short videos a week around the theme. And then at the end of the month, I'm doing a Zoom coaching check-in call. So if somebody
that's really helpful. Yeah.
We can look at it, unpick the situation, perhaps look at some of the techniques that I use to support them. So today I've just done a session called anchoring and being able to support people with all. I know when my kids were small, I thought, God, it'd be so nice to buy that feeling off the shelf. And you can, and it gives them that opportunity to utilise.
So I know there are a lot of people out there who are saying wonderful things about you and what you're helping them with. I've seen the posts, I've seen the testimonials. How are they feeling? And once they've got in, it must be a relief at first, but what are they feeling? What does that mean to them?
So some of the feedback I've had so far is it's really great, and I'm so grateful that you set this up, as it's a really supportive space, and the fact that the videos are short, I feel like I can manage it.
Oh, that's useful. That's helpful. Yeah.
There's also been things like I've realised that I haven't put my emotional well-being and physical health at the top of the list, and I'm going to start doing this.
Oh, that's lovely, actually, because that's a real realisation, isn't it?
Nicola's really knowledgeable on PDA, and being able to share and explain how to support our kids, loving a particular technique that is in the foundation videos. I'm adding this into my toolbox, and I might see if my son will try it.
Well, that's lovely. Do you know what? I'm getting a sense that everyone's sort of feeling that, firstly, they're not alone. There is somebody out there that can help them, and once they actually get going, they realise that it's not them. There are things that they can do to change things. It doesn't have to be always stressful and overwhelmed, and it sounds just perfect for exactly what they need, just being able to reach out and have somebody who totally understands them. That, Nicola, this is just phenomenal, and I really want to let people know how they can get in touch with you. So what would be the best thing for them to do?
At the moment, my personal Facebook page, my own profile, and then I run a small group called the PDA Parent Space.
Okay, yeah.
I've also got a page called the Positive PDA.
Yeah.
Give you those links.
Yeah, and I shall pop all the links below. Yeah, that's lovely. Nicola, thank you so much for letting me interview you and just sharing with the world the work that you're doing. It's just phenomenal. I'm absolutely so grateful that you're here. And if anybody wants to get in touch with Nicola, please do. And if you know somebody else that you think might need to, please pass on her details. It's been lovely having you here, Nicola. Thank you so much for joining me on Chit Chat.
Thank you.